In this screencast, we're going to look at some projects which use the additional inputs of rotation, light level, and compass heading. So we'll look at the rotation project first. So in this project, we're going to keep it fairly straightforward. So we're going to do on shake, we're going to show the roll value, and then we're going to pause, and then we're going to show the pitch value and pause again. So we have a new project. I'm going to just remove the on start and the forever. I'm going to go to input and find my on shake. I'll go to basic and show string, and the string I'm going to show is roll, and then I'm going to go to basic and do a pause. So I'm going to pause it for 500 milliseconds, and then I'm going to go back again and find my show number, and I'm going to go and find my rotation, which is an input, and it's in more. So I'll pull across rotation, and instead of pitch I'll put in roll, and I'll just put in another pause just after that. So again we'll pause for 500 milliseconds. So I'm going to do a test now and just make sure that that's working. So if I press shake, it's printing out roll, and it's 1, 1, 1. If I press shake again, it's printing out roll, 115. So now we need to add in the pitch. So I'm going to show the string and put out pitch. I'm going to duplicate this pause and put it here, and then I'm going to show the number. Actually, I'm just going to go back here and duplicate this bit because it has everything I need. So I'm going to show the number, rotation, and I'm just going to change it to pitch there. So when I press shake now, it has roll value of 114, and the pitch value is going to be minus 443. So remember, the roll is the left and right, and the pitch is the up and down. Now we're just displaying the values here, but what you could do is, depending on the value, whether it's positive or negative, you can decide what you want to do. So that's just the rotation project. So in the next project, we're going to use the light level. So we're going to on start set the light level. Remember, we have to set the light level to start off with. It's always going to be 0 when we start off with. And then the next time we call it, it will bring in the true light level value. Then we're going to forever flick between a small and a larger heart. And then when the A button is pressed, we're going to set the light level. And if the light level is less than 150, we're going to set the brightness to 200. Otherwise, we'll set the brightness to 20. So we have a new project in makecode.com. So in the on start, I am going to create a variable. So I'm going to make a variable, and I'm going to call it light level. And I'm going to set that light level to, and if I go to input, I can pull across the light level here. So that's my on start. The next thing I want to do is forever. And basically, I just want to go into, basic here. I'm going to show LEDs, and I'm just going to do a simple heart here first, which is just a small heart. And then I'm going to pause for a little while. So I'm going to pause for 500 milliseconds, and then once I have done that, I am going to show the icon, which is just the large heart. So it's just going to flick between the two, as you can see in the simulator here. So the last thing I have to do in this project is, when the A button is pressed, I'm going to again set the light level. So I'm just going to copy this. I'll just pull it down here, and then I need to have an if statement. So I'm going to say if, I'll just pull across the if then else, because I have an else situation here, and I'm just going to go for logic and a less than. So I'm going to pull that across, and then I'm going to go to variables to find my light level variable. So I'm saying if the light level is less than 150, then I want to set the brightness, and I can set the brightness in LED. So here you can set brightness to something, to a particular value. So I'm going to set the brightness to 200 if the light level is less than 150, and I'm going to duplicate that and just set it to 20 if it's less than, if it's greater than 150. So the last thing to do now is we'll just restart the simulator, and you can see that the small heart and large heart is constantly flicking between the two. Now you'll notice here there's a light level here. So once I've brought the light level into play, I can actually drag that down or up, and it'll give me a different light level. So in the simulator you can actually simulate the light level. So what I need to do now is I need to press the A button. Now in this case the light level is 126. So that is setting the brightness to 200. If I make the light level very bright and press the button again, notice the way the brightness has gone way down. If I go back and change the light level back again and press A, it'll make it brighter again, and then it'll make it darker again. So that's just a very simple project just using light level. In the final project for this screencast, we're going to look at compass heading, which is another input that we can use. So what we're going to do here is we're going to forever get the compass heading, and then depending on what that value, now compass heading is a value between 0 and 360. So we have 0 at the 12 o'clock position, we have 90 degrees at the 3 o'clock position, 180 degrees at the 6 o'clock position, 270 degrees at the 9 o'clock position, and we're back up to 0 or 360 at the 12 o'clock position. So what we're saying is if the heading is less than 45, so we're in this situation here, so it's less than 45, then we should point north. So we're just going to show an arrow pointing north. If it is not less than 45 but is less than 135, then that means we're in this situation here where it's greater than or equal to 45 but less than 135, and in that situation we're going to show the arrow pointing east. If it is not less than 45 and not less than 135 but less than 225, so we're in this situation here where we're in the south, then it's going to be greater than or equal to 135 and less than 225. And then if it is less than 315, then we're in the situation where it's greater than 225 and less than 315, so we want to point west. And the final one is just the last little bit where it's greater than 315 and less than 360, and that is back to pointing north. So that's the arrow we're going to show. Just an apology here, my lines aren't as straight as they could be, but I just wanted to show you just to make it visual for you. So we'll go and code that now in makecode.com. So we have a new project, and we're just going to use the forever block, so I'm just going to get rid of the on start. So here in forever, we're going to get the compass heading. So I'm just going to create a variable. So I'll make a variable called heading. Click OK on that. And then I can set my heading to, and I need to go to input, and I need to find my compass heading, which is just here. So that's getting the direction in which the microbit is pointed, because that's what the compass heading is all about. So the first thing we do is just set our compass heading, and then we want to have an if statement, and then I'm just going to bring across the if true for now, and I'm going to get a less than. So I'm going to say if the heading is less than 45, then I want to show an image. Now if I go down here to the advanced section, there's an images blocks here, and within here if I go down I can show image at offset 0, so that's just placing it, and then the image I actually want to show I can get from images as well. I can just go down here, and this is arrow image north. So what I'm saying is I want to show arrow image north if the heading is less than, and I just need to change this to 45. So that's my first bit. I'm just going to take the item and just delete that. Then I need to put in an else statement. So I'm going to put in, it's an else if statement. So I'm saying else if, and I'll just close this off. And here I'm just going to duplicate. So here I'm saying if the heading is less than 135. So what I'm doing here is I'm putting in nested ifs. Now the order in which you put them in is really important, because it will check to see if it's less than 45 first. If that is true, then it'll go in and show the image here, and it won't check anything else. If it is not less than 45, then it'll go and check the next condition, which is less than 135, And if it's less than 135, then I want to show the image, and instead of north here, I'm going to show the image east. And then I'm just going to add in another else if. So I'm just going to do it literally block by block. I could put them all in now, but I'm going to just do them one by one, just not to confuse things. I'm going to duplicate this again. Now remember, the next one that I'm going to check is 225. And if it is less than 225, then I want to show the image, arrow image, and this time it's the south I want to show. I'm going to put in another else if. I'll just bring this down here so that I can see it. Bring in another else if there. I'm just going to close that up so I can do what I need to do. I am going to duplicate this again, and the last one I'm going to put in is 315, and if it is less than 315, then the image I want to show is, I want to show west. And then the final one, I don't actually need to put an if statement there, I'm just going to put in a final else. So here, if I go, just put in a final else, and this is just to get the last bit, which is showing the north again. So I'm just going to close that off, and then I just want to show my image north again. So I can just duplicate this, bring it in here, and show north. So the last thing we need to do is test this, and you see here it's pointing west and it's showing 90 degrees here. Now we don't normally see this, but because we've used the compass heading on the simulator, it's showing this compass heading. If I swing this around, it will change. So you'll see it's showing south, it's showing west. It's going to go back up and show north again. It'll show north all the way to 45, and then it swings back to west. So you can see here that it's properly showing the direction. So it's just a nice little compass. So those are 3 projects on rotation, light level, and compass heading. Just one final thing on the compass heading. When you're actually doing this project when you're trying to run it on the microbit, you need to calibrate your microbit, and it will ask you, when you turn it on and you're using something that needs to be calibrated for, it will just show up a message, draw a circle, and I'll upload a little video where I'm just showing that on an actual microbit. So I'll upload that separately, and you can see how you can calibrate. So that's just something to be aware of. I hope you found these projects useful.